Good morning, Om Shanti. This is the time of our test when everybody is facing one problem or the other. It could be a health problem, could be a money problem, a social or spiritual problem. It is also the time to have patience, to conserve our energy so that we can move in the right direction with strength. With confidence that tomorrow will bring goodness. With inner conviction that behind every disturbance, there is peace. Behind every problem, there is solution. And behind every disease, there is a cure. Although we may not feel like that here, but this is ultimate spiritual truth. And the truth prevails. So we just have to, in the midst of the problem, silence ourselves so that we can see that solution. We can see that cure. We just have to recognize and focus on that solution. As we are passing through the storm of these problems, and nobody is immune to problems and situations. Everybody has their own. As we pass through, we just have to practice learning to look at the solution, because we have become very problem-oriented. And that takes our attention away from where we have to go. And so we have to distance from the situations and problems, not to run away from it, not to escape, and certainly not to hide from those problems, but to have that balance of the goodness, of the peace in the chaos. So we have to practice that. And we have somewhat forgotten that. That's why we have problems. Otherwise, we are very powerful beings. So let us explore and see how we can achieve this. Let us explore a different way. We have always tried to find a solution outside. We have always looked for the cure outside. And sometimes we are successful, but at other times we are not. And if you look at the bigger picture, most of the time we are unsuccessful. We feel temporarily that we have achieved a victory over the problems, over the disease, but we have not. Medicine's not working, prayers are not working, external support's not working. So where we can go, what we can do. When we go inside, we find that there is a plenty of help inside. And that help comes from the Supreme Light, the one who removes the sorrow and the one who empowers. This much bigger world within us, much cleaner, rich, beyond our dreams. That's the world we need to explore, to strike the goal. So let us take a short journey in that world to feel that richness, to feel that health, wealth, happiness, that prosperity. A glimpse of the spiritual world. To sit in silence, the silence of the mind. And with inner happiness, let go of the tension. Sit with your back straight. Relax your shoulders. Relax all the muscles. Remain totally attentive, awake, alert. Keep your eyes open if possible. Look straight ahead. Let go of any thoughts of the past, any thoughts of the world. We are here for our own benefit. This time is dedicated to us. With your eye of the intellect, focus your attention to the center of your forehead. Your physical eyes may be open, looking ahead, but with the spiritual eye, focus to the center of your forehead. Total attention. And with the rocket of the intellect, travel inwards through the skin, bone, cells, atoms, molecules, into our fifth element, the space within. Empty space inside. Feel that silence. And look at yourself as a point of light. A tiny shining point. Radiating purity, peace, bliss, knowledge, powers, love, and happiness. Look at yourself as that point of light in the halo of what you're radiating. In the halo of that peace and love. Completely safe and secure. Feel that distance. The distance from your surrounding. The five elements that makes your body. Feel that you are not it. You separate. You are a pure soul. Connected with the Supreme Light. And see that Supreme Light coming from above. Empowering, enriching your nature. With love. And follow that light above. To see that Supreme Light. The one who empowers. The one who protects. The one who cleans. The one who removes sorrow. Look at that supreme light, constantly showering loveful protection on you. Feel the richness. Feel the relief. Feel the power. The power to heal. Everything around you. Everyone around you. Including your body, your relations, your problems, your situations, your world. Keep that connection with the supreme light alive in your intellect. As you focus your attention to your body, to that painful area. And let that healing touch remove the pain. To soothe that sore area, to that sore relation, to that difficult problem. Feel that lightness and the freedom and the health. As you listen to the discussion today, keep this connection alive inside. You, the pure soul, connected with the supreme light, receiving the healing energy of love, of peace, of happiness, radiating out everywhere. Keep this connection alive. Thank you for healing yourself, because when you heal yourself, you heal the world. You become the healer for the world. In this short meditation, I mentioned a few words like soul and supreme soul. So I'd like to spend a few moments, a short time, to elaborate on what that means for those of you who are new in the class. Our world, our universe, is made up of three entities: soul, supreme soul, and matter. Everything that you see or can imagine or think of is made up of these three eternal elements: soul, supreme soul, matter. Matter is what we see, what we feel, what we perceive. It is made up of five elements: the earth, water, fire, air, ether, or sky. And one of the basic characteristics of the matter is it constantly changes. Change is its nature. The soul and the supreme soul, on the other hand, are not tangible easily, intangible relatively, invisible beings. You can't see the soul or the supreme soul. And they are the living energy as opposed to the five elements, which is non-living. But the soul and supreme soul are living energies. The characteristic of the soul, one characteristic of the soul, that it travels, it journeys in a cyclical fashion. So it also becomes like the five elements, where it changes, but not as much as the five elements do. So it's a relatively more stable, like the supreme soul. At the same time, it has that ability to come into the cycle of birth and death, although it's eternal. The soul is eternal, but it comes into the cycle of birth and death because when it comes into the cycle, it changes its characteristic. The supreme soul, on the other hand, is constant. In fact, the only constant entity in the universe is the supreme soul. And that constancy makes that supreme soul almighty, the powerful, the purifier, the one who always remains pure and clean. The soul can come into the cycle and become unclean. The soul can become powerless. From being powerful, it can become powerless depending on which part of the cycle it is. The supreme soul is always powerful. The supreme soul is always pure and clean. And that's the reason the Supreme Soul is able to rejuvenate, to recharge the soul when it becomes powerless. It has ability to clean or purify the soul when it becomes impure or unclean. The Supreme Soul has ability to cleanse the 5 elements. The soul is made up of seven basic values: purity, love, power, peace, bliss, prosperity, knowledge. Prosperity includes health, wealth, happiness. And why these 7 virtues? Why not anything else? These are the basic virtues of the soul. Soul has many other virtues as well, but these are the most basic. And they are the most primary virtues, because anything that we look for in this world, we strive for one of these 7 virtues. Whatever we do in the world, ultimately, we're looking for one of these 7 things. And mostly it is either happiness or peace. All of us want that. And so all our activities are geared towards these values. So that's what we are made up of. Just like in the physical world, we eat, we drink. Why do we do that? Because that's what we are made up of. We drink water because our body has water, 70–80% water, 60–70–80. Why do we eat? What do we consume? Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals. That's what we are made up of, and that's what we look for. So spiritually, we look for peace because we are peace. We look for purity because we are pure. And like I was showing you, that the soul goes through a cycle. It has a cyclical journey. So it has a past, present, and future. Past is what we can see back. Future is what we can see forward. But if you look in terms of a cycle, a future is also a past, a remote past. And the past is a remote future. At the beginning of the cycle, we have those 7 virtues to the maximum extent. So we are most powerful, we are most happy, we are most loveful, we are most peaceful. And likewise, our world is like that also. And as we journey through the cycle, we become relatively less powerful. We progressively become less powerful spiritually. That means the 7 values, 7 characteristics that we have, they become dim. We lose the power, we lose the silence, we lose the the happiness slowly. And at the end of the cycle, we come to a point where we become very powerless. We become weak. We feel impure. And at that time, the Supreme Soul who remains beyond the cycle, in his company, we become powerful again. So that's our cycle. And it's a long journey of the soul, relatively, because the journey of this body is from the birth of the body to death. A few years to maybe 100 years max, 125, and that's it. But the soul journey is much longer. Soul travels beyond the death of the body. Soul was there before this body was there, and it will be there after this body is dead. And the soul travels. And what does it carry? It carries those 7 values, virtues. It also carries the impressions that it acquires while living in this cycle. And it journeys. So as it journeys, the acquired values accumulate. The original values decrease. And so naturally the soul becomes more weak, less powerful. And so what we have to do, it makes sense, total sense, to travel back from our powerless stage to powerful stage again, from unhappy to happy stage again, from peaceless to peaceful stage again, more harmonious stage. That's what we want ultimately. We want happiness and peace. So that's how we need to travel. We need to let go of the acquired qualities that we gather through our journey. And we need to re-emerge or empower our original values to become happy and powerful again, to be able to deal with the problems that we are facing, to be able to heal. This is an article from Journal of Anesthesiology, in which the author has described comorbidities and complexities of the chronic pain. And the author has described the following conditions as the comorbidities of the pain: the anxiety, fatigue, lack of energy, weakness, depression, memory impairment, sleep disorder, poverty. These are accompanying conditions of the chronic pain. Without these conditions, the chronic pain would be easy to manage, very easy. But these conditions make it powerful, very powerful. And it becomes hard to deal with them. And the author has also described that the comorbidities of the pain, these comorbidities or the conditions that accompany with the chronic pain reduce the quality of life. It decreases the loss of working days, and it obstructs the living of a healthy social life. And this article is very appropriate for today's talk because if you look at carefully, these conditions that go along with the pain are also our acquired acquired characteristics that we acquire through the cycle. If you look at the anxiety is the source of the anxiety, worry, and fear is attachment. These are the five big acquired characteristics of the soul. The original characteristics of the soul are love, peace, power. But the acquired ones are these: attachment, lust, ego, anger, and greed. And these other conditions, they are like babies of them. For example, the fear, worry, and anxiety comes from the attachment. So mother of fear and worry is attachment and anxiety. Depression, for example, it comes from the ego. Sadness comes from the ego. So what is ego? How can I get depressed when I have ego? Ego is when I believe that I am someone else when I'm not. Actually, I'm a soul. And when I begin to believe that I'm a body, that's an ego. So that belief brings in arrogance and also depression, because if I'm a body, the body is going to break down. Then I feel depressed. That's how it works. On the other hand, if I'm a soul, if I know, if I believe that I'm a soul, then there's no question of any depression, because I'm me. I'm eternal. I don't break down. I can manage the body that has problems. I can manage my world. So very important to understand this fact. An interesting characteristic here is a poverty. How can poverty be associated with pain? Because if I have chronic pain, I'm not able to work. I can't make money. Poor. I become poor. So it's a part of that greed, the feeling empty inside. So how we can become that powerful again, how we can become happy again, how we can heal ourselves. And these are the spiritual powers with which we can heal. So if I have a disease, what do I need? First of all, I need to see that disease in its right perspective. I need to be able to see correctly. Then I can deal with that. I need to do what is right. I don't need to postpone or not do it, whatever needs to be done. I need to conserve my energy, and instead of focusing on the problems and wasting, I need to focus on the solution, what I need to do. I also need to transform the condition that is standing in front of me. Change that condition. I need to be able to face whatever situation has come in front of me. I need to confront it and try to resolve it rather than hide or run away. I need to become strong and improve my immunity so that no problems will affect me. And I need to make myself strong and keep me very safe and secure. And I need to become strong enough so that I can not only take care of myself, but I can also take care of others. So we will look at these powers in a little bit detail to understand how we can deal with our problems, our pain, how we can heal. So first of all, we need the power to discern, to look at the problem in its right perspective. When I'm body conscious, when I believe that I'm a body, then the problem will be there in front of me like a mountain, and it will appear really big. And I will have anxiety or fear and confusion how I can cross that. And I would feel somewhat helpless. That's how I would feel when I am in a body conscious stage. But when I elevate my consciousness to soul consciousness, when I understand that I'm a soul, when I know that I'm a soul, not only just understand, but when I know that I'm a soul, then the same problem will appear different, much smaller. There would not be any fear or anxiety. I would become worryless. There would not be any fearless. I would feel powerful. And problems will not disturb my inner peace. Secondly, in my soul conscious stage, I will have a constant connection with the Supreme Soul. And through that connection, I would feel supported all the time. I would feel an invisible help coming from above. Or I would feel really victorious. There'll be a victorious feeling that I can deal with what's there. So that's the first power of the spirit that we need to understand really well. Body consciousness versus soul consciousness. And the soul consciousness will come when I have this connection with the Supreme Light. If I try to become a soul without this help from, constant help from above, I may feel somewhat soul conscious, but then because I live in the body, I'm still in the cycle. I would have the characteristic of the cycle will drag me back into the body consciousness. It's that stage I cannot sustain. So to have a sustained stage of the soul consciousness, I must know, I must have that relation with the Supreme Soul, the Supreme Light. And then I can see the problem with the right perspective. I can see that huge mountain in front of me is not that big. There'll be no anxiety, fear. And I can then, because there is no disturbance of anxiety and fear in me, I will be able to then focus on what I need to do. When you're bombarded by different problems, then your mind cannot focus on the solution. So you can really focus on the solution and come up with the right answer. And what is needed for this power is you need knowledge, you need yoga, you need silence. You need knowledge that you are a soul. You need knowledge of the Supreme Soul. You need yoga, means you need to have connection with that Supreme Soul. And you need silence. Silence inside. Meaning no negative thoughts, less waste thoughts, more attention to me and to Supreme Light. Of course, be in this world, but be more inside, connected. Then we need to be able to decide what we want to do. Once we know this is my problem, this is my pain, this is my difficulty, then you make a decision. And that decision is important because I can know and I can still sit around and do nothing. That doesn't work. I need to have that power to do something. I need to have enthusiasm to do it, to do what is right, and to do at the accurate time. It should not be that I have fever now and then I will take a medicine day after tomorrow. I need to take care of it now. So appropriate action at appropriate time in appropriate situation with firm determination. That the power, that decision power will come to us when we become more soul conscious. When we are body conscious, our mind is scattered. Our mind is powerful, but it's scattered on different directions. I have to do this, I have to do that, so many things. And so it gets pulled in 10 different directions. I don't know, I can't decide. So that concentration, that accuracy comes when I become so conscious. I know the truth and I can just follow the truth. Then I need to be able to face, to confront and resolve the situation. There's a big situation in front of me. What am I going to do? First thing is I should not run away from that. Because run away is postponing, letting the problem grow if I run away. If I think that I can deal with this problem tomorrow, it will be much bigger tomorrow and I'll be more weaker. So I need to face it now, confront and resolve. So without escaping, in our body consciousness, we develop a protective mechanism when we confront any situation that seems bigger. What we do is we escape instead of dealing with it. And there are many escape mechanisms. Some very simple escape mechanisms, some very complex escape mechanisms that sounds like a spirituality. Simple escapism is you can just neglect to what is there and you can divert your attention somewhere else. You can listen to some music, etc. Or read something spiritual instead of taking care of the problem. These are escape. Some complex escape mechanisms, they sound like very good, but they are still escapes. Example, going to temple, praying, chanting, etc. So the problem is still standing, and here I'm chanting. The problem I don't think the problem goes away if I chant, because I'm not doing anything actively for that problem. So I need to be able to look at the problem eye to eye. And that is a spiritual power. That the problem comes with that, the problem has its own weapons. And so that's one of the weapons of the problem, that it will divert your mind away. When you look at this fearsome drama, it will force you to look away. But the spiritual strength within you will allow you to look at that problem straight ahead, eye to eye. It makes you fearless, that spiritual power. And we have seen this in many people. People have cancer and all horrible diseases. And there are a lot of cancer survivors. They have that inner spiritual strength to look at these conditions and able to deal with them very nicely. It's because they are spiritually alert. They're spiritually strong. So that's the power to face. And a lot of time, the problem is so big that you tend to fall back. And you tend to fall into that old pattern of sorrow or a weakness, feeling of weakness. But the more spiritually strong you are, the more you will have that inner happiness. There's a constant stream of happiness within that will not let you feel any sorrow as you deal with these problems. You will have the faith that it will be okay. Tomorrow is going to be great. You will have that unshakable faith. Why? Because you know the truth. You have got the grip of the truth. And that truth is the one that never changes, that supreme light, as we saw in one of the previous slides. Because you know that truth, and because you have that faith, the inner faith, that everything is going to be good, there cannot be any sorrow as you face. And you will feel really powerful. So that is a self-respect of who you are will be there with the spirituality. You will have that a sense that you are not weak, you're not ordinary. You are no lesser than anybody or any situation or any disease. You would have that power. And so this power will increase your likelihood of victory of any condition that you are dealing with. Sometimes the problem is so big that we can't save ourselves. We got to take some hits, some blows from whatever is there. And that's the power to tolerate this. The spirituality makes us the strong. We are able to take that insult. It could be physical, it could be mental, economical, social, whatever is there. We're able to tolerate, take it without getting tormented inside. So that's the inner immunity that comes as a spirit. We become spiritually strong. And it is a power, and it is not a protection. Protection is something that you are trying to save yourself when something comes out from outside. That's a protection. But tolerance is not that. You're not protecting. You are protected. And then you're looking at the problem. There's a subtle difference. So when you try to tolerate a pain or a situation and say, I'm going to tolerate this, I'm not going to give up, that is also more body conscious way of dealing with it. And you get tired, sometimes you get hurt. The moment you fall, you feel weak, that thing will get you. But spiritually strong means you are way up, you're immune to what the problem is. It doesn't get you down, never. So that's a weapon, a power. And its driving mechanism is love. The love for God, the love for supreme light. So, for example, if there's a pain, then if I'm body conscious, naturally my attention goes to the pain. And then I feel it. But as a spiritual being, I'm connected with the supreme light. I'm feeling that love of the supreme light and protection. I'm feeling that joy of the supreme being. I'm immersed in that love. And I'm so much immersed in that love that this love, it radiates out. It has no room to absorb anything from outside. This love heals everything. And it's so powerful, it can heal the world. And we have seen this. The founding fathers of the religions, they were demonstrated that the love heals the world. To accommodate is a power that transforms. So if I have a problem, I need to be able to transform that problem. I need to be able to dissolve, change it. Actually, dissolving is power to face. You dissolve, but here you transform the positivity into negativity. Accommodate. The core values that's needed to accommodate is to expand, accept, allow. Just like an ocean, you become vast. You become generous. Meaning your positivity, you expand your positivity so much. You may have negativity inside, but if you expand your positivity so much that all the negativity becomes dilute. Just like how love can make you tolerant, similarly, the vastness or ability to accommodate transforms the situation here. This is a very useful power to deal with the past trauma, to deal with sore relationships, the trauma of the relationships. For example, if there is a difficult relationship problem, normally we distance ourselves from them. We don't accept them inside. We close our doors. That's what we do normally. But the power of accommodation, you open doors, you allow, you accept you accept the idea of that person. And the purpose of this acceptance is like widening yourself, making yourself generous. The purpose of acceptance is to allow that idea, to allow that individual to transform. Because the moment you close the door, the moment you reject that person, moves away. But when you allow, the person gets an environment in which they can transform. So you create an environment that makes it possible for the other to transform. Just like here, this is the oyster shell, or a shell in the bottom of the ocean. And impurity falls in. It doesn't reject the impurity. It will let the impurity sit there. And that impurity turns into a beautiful pearl. So that's how we accommodate. We expand, become generous, become vast, like ocean. We accept them, we allow them with a loving energy, and that transforms them. This is exactly how God works. God accepts us. The Supreme Light accepts all of us, no matter how we are. And with his vastness, with his love, he lets us transform. So it is an inherited characteristic. Sorry. It is an inherited characteristic or a value that comes from the Supreme Light to us. We don't force goodness on others when we accommodate. Rather, we allow them to mature in a strong, positive environment. Our flexibility provides them the supportive environment. When we cooperate or when we help, then we empower ourselves for a bigger cause. So when we land ourselves for a bigger cause than my selfishness, then I become more powerful. And that's the power to cooperate. And that's one of the core power of the powers of the soul. And how that helps to heal? When I cooperate, when I work to do something good, then I become powerful. I get a double blessing. The person or the institute or a group for whom I'm serving, I will get blessing from them. I will get blessing from the Supreme Light. So the service or the cooperation helps me heal with these double blessings. And blessing is not a small healing power. It's a huge healing power, blessing. Especially it comes from the heart. So when you cooperate, you provide a service to others. You may be facing your own problems, but when you do that, don't forget your service. And if you do service while you're dealing with your problem, then definitely you will get blessing from the Supreme Soul, from the Supreme Light. So you get double blessings, and that these double blessings will heal your situation. When you start doing what God wants you to do, you naturally become strong. So that's the healing power of the cooperation. Pack up, power to pack up. When you're traveling through a troubled area, or when you're traveling through a storm, then you find yourself in that storm, and you find yourself looking at all the difficulties and problems that you're dealing with in the storm. And you can't really find a solution. You can't look away from this problem. So it makes sense to go through this troubled situation or a trauma situation or health problem with peace, with more elevated stage. Because as a body conscious stage, you are going through this man should be here actually. You're going through this a storm, and this is your world here. And so anything that happens in the world, it directly affects you. Whatever happens here is your reality. And you can't go beyond this level. Your world remains here. Something breaks down, it affects directly to you. If things are good, you feel good, but then the moment things change, you change with them. So that's the going with the flow of the world. And that always gives you ups and downs. But when you are soul conscious, when you're here, you are looking at your cleaner yourself. Here, when you're here, you're looking at yourself living in this world. When you are above in a more soul conscious stage, you are able to look at yourself as a clean and pure soul, as a peaceful individual, as a powerful individual. And then you can still look at this world and go through this storm easily. So that's the power to pack up. It is a huge spiritual power where it allows you to conserve energy. Because if you don't conserve your energy, if you're not careful, as you're going through your problems, your mind runs through this problem and it comes into many waste thoughts, and it creates many negative thoughts as well. Very harmful thoughts sometimes. You could go through some bodily problems and you could develop a very depressing thought. and many waste thoughts. So that's like a tornado inside, constantly. And all you have to do is raise your consciousness from body conscious level to soul conscious level. Then this tornado will be much less. So it's like a journey. When you journey through your situation, you carry what's necessary. You don't want to carry the burden with you. You drop the fear, the anxiety, the questions. Why it happened? Why me? All those questions that doesn't serve any good to you. It only makes you more depressed. And you have this inner wish that it will go away, whatever is there. But that also is useless. Of course, you should have some wish, but then to sit with that wish and not do anything constructive is very harmful. To have a desire to be sensitive, all these creates a lot of weight in the soul, and the soul is not able to travel through this problem. And not only that, the soul is not able to find the right solution, what I need to do. And so to carry the essentials only, this power of the soul will allow me to stop, to apply a full stop to whatever the problems are. Of course, I cannot remove the situation from front, but I can definitely stop the anxious thoughts. I can definitely stop the depressing thoughts in my mind. I can stop being sensitive and stop crying so that I can focus. So that's the power to pack up. Another more important aspect of this power is to steer away from the negativity. Meaning I am able to construct something positive. So not only putting a full stop to the waste, but also being able to create something positive. And the soul has the ability to create. The soul because the soul is a child of the Supreme Light, the Supreme Soul, who is the creator. And so just like they can create, the Supreme Soul can create, the soul also creates. And how does the soul create? The soul creates through the power of thought power. And it's a big topic, how the thought can create. And we can talk about this another day, but I can just tell a few points about how thought creates a reality. It's a thought or the consciousness. So when it all begins with a consciousness or awareness. And when I'm aware that I am a peaceful soul, for example, that awareness will lead to a feeling of peace inside. That creates my stage. So it's like a king sitting on a throne. And the stage is the throne, and the king, the consciousness, is on that throne. And so from here, now the king is able to operate. So that's how the soul works. The soul has this awareness that I'm a soul, I'm a peaceful soul, sitting on the stage of peace. And so everything is quiet. But while sitting on that stage of silence, waves, from time to time, some waves of lower thoughts than the consciousness level will arise. And these are still powerful thoughts. And these powerful thoughts create waves of activity. It is called vritti. So the waves of activity produced by the thought. And that has a transformative power. It transforms. This thought transforms or allows the matter, which is made up of 5 elements, to change, to do something. So I can, as a peaceful soul, I can create a peaceful thought. I can create a peaceful activity. I can sing a peaceful song. So that's the action. And through my vritti, my attitude, my waves of the thoughts, I can create my world. And we, all of us, do that consciously or unconsciously. The whole world that we see around is a result of this process. And there's a lot of detail of how this happens. But like I was saying, it has to be another day. All the things that we see is the result of our thoughts. Who made the buildings and roads? Who made the society? Who made the rules? Who made the arrangement of the things in your house? Us. How? Through our thoughts. So thoughts generating into activity. So the power of pack-up is a combination of stopping and wasteful thoughts that will not lead us anywhere, or the negative thought that will pull into doing something negative. So that's one. And the second part of the pack-up is to move to positivity. So as you journey through the storm, you stop the waste, you travel light. As a subtle being, it will be easy. So if there's a big storm going on, the best way to travel through the storm is become very subtle, very light. And this, we are not going to go into this. Lastly, the power to withdraw. If that sometimes the disease or the problem that we are facing is so big that no way we can deal with, we can fight, we can use all those powers that we mentioned, can't deal with that. What do? You have to withdraw. Now, it sounds like a negative action, withdrawing from a war. But this is not external withdrawing. It's a spiritual withdrawing. It's a power. So withdraw not from outside, but withdraw inside. You are a body conscious being, and you are also a soul conscious being. As a body conscious being, you're dealing with something huge, life-threatening. You just withdraw inside from being a body to being a soul. That's the power to withdraw. You're not moving away. You're not running away. But you are inside, you're withdrawing. And that makes you a very powerful, very protected individual. Even the death will not change your peace. So it's when you withdraw to become a soul or soul conscious, you realize that you are a living invisible energy. You are in charge. You are independent. You are not dependent on the body. And you are an immortal, imperishable, indestructible individual. That means you have unlimited powers, unlimited potentials. Lastly, I want to mention that you are, and all of us are, pure, peaceful, powerful, loveful, happy, prosperous, balanced beings. These are our original values. We may not have full manifestations of them now, but we all have that potential. We all have that ability to awaken them. We just have to align ourselves with that supreme light. And in his presence, our inner values can arise, awaken, and empower us. So when I say I'm a pure soul, I mean that I am in my own nature. I'm not in the nature of the world. My nature is peace. My nature is not worry. That's what the purity means. When I say I'm a peaceful soul, everything is okay. Everything is all right in my body, in my world, in my mind. Everything is fine. Whatever is there, it's okay. When I'm a powerful soul, that means I can decide, I can plan, I can create what happens in my world. I'm in charge. As a loveful soul, I am full with God's love. That healing energy. I can heal this body. I can heal others. I'm a happy soul. This is my natural feeling. The other feelings are not mine. They are the characteristics of the body. I'm a prosperous being. I'm a healthy, wealthy, happy soul. I'm rich with knowledge, virtues, and powers. And I'm balanced soul. I remain stable in all conditions. Profit and loss does not affect me. Problems will not change me. I remain unshakable. Before I conclude, I just want to touch base on one other aspect, which is from this talk, you must have realized that that the soul consciousness is the way to deal with any problem, situations, disease, pain. That doesn't mean that you don't take medicines. You, of course, follow advice of your doctor, do whatever needs to be done, get your surgery done if that's needed. So do what's needed for the body. But inside, you make yourself powerful. And the way to make yourself powerful is not by just listening to a lecture. This is just the information that you receive. That does not bring any change. Tomorrow or day after tomorrow, when you forget this, you would be you would be the same. The way to change is to first understand the truth behind that soul consciousness. So perfect understanding is very important. That gyan, that knowledge is very important. Unless that understanding is there, you cannot receive anything from what you just heard. And besides the perfect understanding, you need to feel. If you just understand, okay, I understood, this is how it is, still, you would not have that advantage. You need to feel it, because this is an experiential journey from being a body to being a soul. It is not just a matter of knowledge. You cannot say that I'm a soul by learning in a classroom, by understanding. Otherwise, everybody in the world would be spiritual, because we all want to be spiritual. So feeling, your heart should feel it. Your heart should like that truth. So understanding with your intellect, feeling with your heart, with your mind. And beyond the feeling, there is another very important aspect. Let's say you have understood, you felt from your heart, yes, this is right, this is the way to go. Still, you would not have any advantage. You need practice. So just learning to be a doctor and feeling that I'm a doctor, that doesn't do any good. I become a doctor when I treat. So you need to do something, you need to practice. To practice means you incorporate that knowledge in your life. Bring it into your life. Let it work in your mind. Let it work on your body. Let it work in your house, in your relations. Let it work in the world. Whoever you meet, they should feel it. They should feel the difference. Then you got it. They should feel, not you. I feel I'm a doctor, but my patient doesn't think so. Then I'm not a doctor. My patient should feel that, yes, they got something from me. So these are the three very important aspects of learning that I wanted to stress. So understand, feel, understand the truth, feel, and practice. In Hindi, it's called sunna, samajna. Suno, sunna, samajna. Sunna, manna, you understand. Samajna. And banna, to be. So listen, know, feel, and become. You have to become. Unless you become, you won't get these powers. you have to become. And it's not difficult. You just have to put your heart in it. Let the heart be in the driving seat. Of course, you first put your mind, your intellect ahead, and let the intellect guide your heart. But once the heart feels it, let the heart be ahead and let your heart follow you. Lead you. Then you will be an individual with immense powers. All the things that I've talked today and all the knowledge that I spoke, it came from this university, Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual Organization. This is a worldwide spiritual movement dedicated for personal transformation and world renewal. It helps the individual to transform, and it is a non-profit organization. It has affiliation with United Nations and even UNICEF. It works, the organization works with big institutes like that, and also works at the smallest level that one can imagine. These are some of the websites where you can visit to get more knowledge.